How's it going? Congratulations for winning the 11-second club this month. This is a really fun, cool piece of animation. I'm excited to talk about it. Just to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Peter Kelly, and I am a lead animator at Industrial Light Magic. I've been there for about 14 years now. 14 years, almost 15 years now. And in that time, I've worked on 3 Star Wars movies. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and now this little startup film that's coming out in a month or so called Force Awakens. So we're all really excited for you guys to see that one. It's a really fun movie, and it was a thrill to work on and to be a part of. So to talk about your really fun piece of animation here, I love it because the energy is just so, it's just so happening here. The whole time there's this wonderful piece of energy to it, and it's sort of a hybrid between Star Wars and The Matrix in a way. This blue guy reminds me of Neo running around just kicking some serious tail. So let's watch it through a couple times, and then we'll chat about it. Here we go. So it's really fun, really great. Your sense of body mechanics and physics are right on the money. Just as we watch this first scene, how this guy is just flipping around. There's a lot going on there, and it reads beautifully. So some really nice stuff. Truth be told, a lot of my notes to you are going to be more coming from like a staging standpoint and how you want to tell the story, because it took me a few viewings to actually follow the story, and that the blue guy is going, and then and how at the end here he goes and then he takes out this guy. I didn't understand their relationship at the beginning of the piece, and I think the main reason is because our establishing shot starts with a shot where we're right in the action, and then we cut to this really amazing Matrix shot where we see everyone fall over, and then I see our other guy appear, right? So it took me a few viewings to get that. Like, what's the relationship between this guy in screen space and then the blue guy? And so I've been thinking of other ways that you could, if you wanted to, try and set this up and stage it. And it would probably entail a shot closer to this one, but maybe from the side where the camera's over here and we're establishing blue guy here and our other guy here. That way we would have a little bit of screen direction where we could have a sense that one guy's on one side of the screen space and the other guy's on the other side. And, you know, this guy is looking screen left, so we're thinking that the villain or the good guy, the blue guy, would be coming to us from screen left. You could sort of establish that relationship. And then, you know, when it comes to dynamic fighting shots, a lot of it comes down to posing and timing. And one thing that also threw me was this guy getting attacked at the end. I think all you need are probably 10 more frames. You know, we end this scene with this guy exiting frame and running, and I think it would be helpful if at the head of this shot, what you could do is you could track him coming down the way he is, but maybe we see this guy running towards camera, and then we have this slice happen. Because right now, you know, this guy lands, and there's really just a 5 or 6 frames before we even realize that there's a character there. And you got to keep in mind, it takes your eye about 8 frames just to realize something's on screen. So with that in mind, it would be nice to have a few more frames just to establish that this guy is coming and that he's there and he's about to be sliced in half. So anything you can do to make that happen, and it may be cool the camera could be slightly higher, and we track him coming down, and this guy's running at us towards camera, and then he gets sliced, something like that, or anything else. But those are my staging notes for you. Just to think about the story of it, right? And then And now I want to talk a little bit about animation and posing and some other things that you could do just to add another level of polish to your scene. All these guys are really, really cool, but as I do frame through this, there is one little snap right there. And this may be a stylistic thing where you're, because at speed it doesn't bother me too much. Yeah, at speed there's so much swinging happening. And as I said, maybe this is a stylistic thing where you're trying to really snap his energy around, but to my eye, it just looked like there was something there. So I would just watch out for that one pop between frames 12 and 13. And what you can do also is you can lead with one part of the body, and maybe the head and the chest are sort of, you're coming from here. This is his ear. Maybe they're sort of leading this turn. I'm going to draw a nose, even though we don't have a nose on your character, just to indicate that I'm talking about that side of the head. But maybe the head is sort of snapping around, and then the legs can follow. Just something to break up those two frames where it's not quite as much of a pop. And then the other thing too, it might be cool to cut out of this scene a few frames later, where to cut like right here, and we start to see these guys fall. We start to see a few of these guys get blown back at the head of the shot, and then we cut to this, and then we see these guys blowing back again. It would be almost like a double cut, but I think that would also help to sell that idea. It's really fun though. I mean, it's some beautiful dynamics here, beautiful body mechanics are working here. Yeah, fun stuff. So this is a fun scene just to show those guys get blown back. That's great. Yeah, and I think this scene too, where the guy is swinging around and having really fun. I would say I would duck this guy and get him, I would make this point as broad as possible. Just a nice straight coming off of there. I think that would be cool. And then what I would do with this guy is duck him, either scoot him further screen right, or do something where we're getting him below this point we've established, right? Because right now this guy is going right through our line of sight. And so it might be cool to push this pose down so he's more get him down a little bit so he's not blocking the way of this point, right? I think that would really help it. This is fun, the way he's ducking out of frame. You can do some fun things here where you've established this nice arc with the head pointing down like that, and then the head looks up right here. I would almost push that arc down. So in through here, once again, he's dipping down right here, this guy. But I would still keep that head down nice and low here. This helps to build up that momentum. Yeah, and it's fun. It'd be fun too to swing these arms maybe. No, you're going for a nice clear line of action, so I get that. I think even if you spring him down, just if you push this anticipation pose down a bit further, it would help really propel him and help him feel like he's really zipping. And then when he pumps up here, tip that head back like that. That just looks like a more kind of appealing blast off pose with the head tilted up. Okay. So this is this fun, badass walk you have here. I was acting it up beforehand. If you watch me, the thing you're missing with this walk is just a little bit of side to side to it. I find that can help to add a little weight and maybe gravitas. So if you watch my hips, I'm just going. And it's subtle, right? But just that little left to right, as opposed to what you have, which is, but even that walk, there's just a very slight left to rightness to it. And I think also adding that left to right, it'll help to add a little bit more weight or power to his scene. It doesn't need to be much, but just a little bit from that to the side. I think that'll help to amp up this guy. So if I was to draw it, be like on like here. It's really about getting his weight over that leg just slightly. The subtle thing. So subtle that I would try to find a good frame for it. Like that. This line. Yeah, like that, where you're just pushing him over just a little bit. Ever so slightly. That'll help it. Right. Just from the left, right, left. And all these attacks felt good to me. The only one that could maybe use a little bit of sugar is this guy's landing. And I say that because everything hits the ground at the same time. It's his chest, his torso, his legs. Not his legs, but it might be fun to have right here to, I would say, almost drag this leg back a little bit so that it hits a little bit later. It just feels like it wants to have like a double impact, like a hit. Like the chest hits and then the leg can hit and kick around, something like that. And it just feels a hair soft. It could be something in there could come down a little faster, maybe the head or the body. So the way that body is hitting from let's say from frame 188 through 192, this whole mass here is pretty soft, and by this point, that section should be pressed down like that. And once again, we could be dragging one of those legs. But I'm being pretty nitpicky here. Something like that. Thought this was fun. Yeah, the only thing I'd say is is to watch your silhouette here. It looks like the hands are both being covered up in this section, and then as he gets any sort of doing acting in this section, so it might be nice just to offset those hands slightly. Pull one hand out. And then everything we talked about here from a staging standpoint. And then our blue guy at the here just has a couple little pops to him. After he puts in the sword, the saber, he does his dip down. and it just catches my eye because really we don't want to be looking at him right here. We want to be looking at this nice fall that you've animated. It's a very slow put back of the saber. So just watch out. That looks like this little hit in the body con there. And then also the head, I think dips up a little bit too quickly here. I'm looking at this right here. Once again, he's done this thing where he's putting the lightsaber away. And then it kind of a quick look up might be nice. He puts the saber away, and it's a very slow look up. That just took me out of it. And then the hit here is nice. Yeah, I would introduce a roll to his as he's falling here. I think you're doing it, but it's hard for me to see because it's black against black. But just make sure that this shoulder is starting to roll over like this. So this is the arm, which I think is what you're doing. So I mean, this is the so if he's going to start to roll, that he's already rolling that way, and I'm pretty sure that's what you have going on. But it's, as I said, it's a little hard with the shoulder. So that's really it. Really noodly stuff. I'd say the biggest note I give you is just to try and sort out some of the things we talked about. I would be sure to add some frames to this shot because it's just a little too quick right now. And as I look at it, at the head of the shot, our guy here is pretty much frozen. So I think that we're thinking the same thing here, that you want him to be doing some sort of action and maybe ran out of time there. But we just need a little more time to see that. And then, you know, an establishing shot here, I know you're dealing with 11 seconds, but for down the road, it might be nice to just have that shot of two people, and so we get a better sense of what the environment is. It's funny now that I look at it. I bet you, yeah, this guy's probably. You know what you could do? This is just a full-on cheat. But what if you started with the camera tighter in on this guy? So we start in with the camera tighter in on him, and he just goes, ah, and points like towards camera, and then camera pops out, and then we see the blue guy starting to kick tail, to throw everyone around. That could be one easy fix too, where you just take the camera and snap it out, and then this guy sort of starts off with something like, ah, you know, or get him, that sort of idea, and then we snap out, and then we have this, and then we could go from there. That'd be a pretty easy fix too. Snap zooms are fun. What a fun, dynamic, awesome scene, though. Really great job. Hats off to you. Great work. I hope this helps, and congrats again for accomplishing such a cool piece of animation. Great stuff. And look forward to hopefully working with you sometime down the road. Keep an eye out for me. All right, take care. Bye-bye.